What a lovely fountain. Okay, my topic for right now is, shit, falling down the steps. Mitchell Center, hooray. Topic for today is, oh, better watch these steps. Let's go with atheism. I'm an atheist, and basically all my friends are atheists, all the ones that I really give a fuck about. And, you know, I do know a couple of people who aren't, but I'm gonna be quite scatterbrained in this commentary right now, because it's kind of a hard thing for me to wrap my head around and talk about, because oftentimes I get pretty angry when I talk to religious people. But basically, my total view on religion is that I think it's completely stupid and unnecessary, and it just starts a bunch of shit with people, and it doesn't make any sense at all. And I mean, pretty much pick any religion that you know of, and I can like count 1,000 ways why it's fucking ridiculous. But and I understand this is gonna piss a lot of people off, and you know, but that's just like, that's my mindset on it. That's how I feel about it. It's my thoughts on the topic. I mean, I guess the main one that I've come across is I guess Christianity. All right, I had to pause the video and collect my thoughts before people started getting angry at what I had to say. Across the street, shit, and let's go with Christianity for now, and all the different denominations of said religion, and take a Protestant and a Catholic, you know, put them in the same room. They won't know what the difference is between their beliefs, most likely. Basically, anybody who's religious is probably that religion because that's how they were raised, and it's not even necessarily what they believe. It might be what they've been, it's just that's what they've been taught. That's what I've noticed from any religious person I've talked to. They really don't have any answers for me as to why they believe it, other than, oh, it's because of faith. But no, it's not really. I mean, faith is a stupid thing to I guess, base your beliefs on, because faith, basically all it is believing something when there's no evidence. I mean, that's basically the definition. Faith is a belief based on just no evidence whatsoever, and that's not something I can get behind. I mean, take the concept of God, and it's supposed to be this, and right now I'm talking about this, the Christian God, but basically the concept is this all-powerful, all-knowing, omnipotent, all-seeing, everything. He knows everything, knows everyone's thoughts, knows what everybody's doing, and at all times, and he is able to create universes. And I mean, it's just, really? That's what you guys believe? I mean, I used to believe it too. I mean, I understand the comfort it may bring to think that, you know, there's an afterlife, and if you're a good person, when you die, you'll be rewarded. But I mean, come on, let's think about this for a minute. The Christian God, first of all, I can't prove that there is no God. I absolutely cannot. Nor can anybody prove that there is one. It's like, it's this circular thing that nobody can really agree on. Like, who has the burden of proof? That's not at all important right now. What I'm trying to say is, like I said earlier, I'm going to be completely scatterbrained when I'm talking, but I'll get to my point eventually. The point here is, people say that I can't prove that there is no God, of course, but just because that is the case, it doesn't mean that you are right. Take all the religions that exist, and all the religions that possibly could exist, all the scenarios that could be possible. Maybe Hinduism is right, maybe, I don't know, maybe fucking some tribe in Africa that believes in the warthog god is correct. You know, you never know. Out of all the possibilities, you know, the possibility of your God being the right one is just as far off from, I mean, it's just as much of a chance that it's my belief as it is that it's yours. I mean, like I said, there could be, there's millions and billions of possibilities, and that's something that a lot of religious people just don't accept. I accept that. I understand that I very easily could be wrong. I don't think I am, but I know that I could. But just in case I'm wrong, and there is a God, it doesn't mean that it is the Christian God or even the Muslim God, which is the same God, by the way. Just they practice different things. I don't know why they hate each other so much when they have the exact same God, but I mean, that's another reason religious people kind of aggravate me a little bit. It's because they don't even realize that. And I'm gonna make a U-E right here and go up through here and head to my next class, because I have class in like 15 minutes. But anyway, yeah, I understand that I could possibly be wrong. Like I said, I don't think I am, but you know, that doesn't even come close to proving that any Christian denomination is correct, or Muslims or Jews or anything. So I mean, that's one thing to think about. And I guess the next thing I could bring up is morality. I once talked to somebody who said without religion there would be no moral values, like there would be no moral structure in society. And when he said that, I thought, what the fuck are you talking about, you idiot? I mean, I think I'm a pretty moral person. I'm a very nice person. I'm willing to help people out. Let's say I'm talking to no, scratch that last sentence. Well, not sentence, but that last fragment. I do not judge anybody on their religion or their race or sexual orientation or anything like that. The only time I refuse to interact with a person or talk with a person is if they're a fucking asshole, and that's it. That's all I have to say. If you're a nice person and you're an Asian, gay, Jew, I don't care. As long as you're, you know, a nice person, you're cool to talk to, and maybe if we have something in common. I mean, if we have absolutely nothing in common, I mean, I'm not gonna be a dick to you, but we might not become friends in the long run. But you know, obviously, I'm not gonna treat you with disrespect. That's not the case for a lot of religious people, and I've never met. Like, I'm not gonna say there are no dick atheists, but because there obviously are, you know, dicks come in all denominations, but the ones I hang out with, the ones I talk to, they're pretty cool. And I think mostly whenever you see an atheist who's an asshole to people, it's because they've been treated with, you know, disrespect and been treated like shit their entire lives because of that. I mean, I'm looked down upon quite often because of my atheism whenever I mention it to religious folk. And I'm going to think about this a little bit more and come back to it and carry on in a little bit after class, I think. Okay, I'm back. And with a little help from a couple of my friends, I've got some specific things to discuss on atheism in general. And before I got sort of sidetracked, check out this awesome little pond we have here. There are gators in here, by the way. Actually, I don't think that's true, but it would be neat if there were. We have 4 gator deaths a year here at this school. But anyways, hope that car doesn't honk at me. I hate when people do that. You walk by their car and then they just honk at you. But anyways, I was talking about morality, and like I said, this guy said to me once, without religion, there would be no moral values in a person. And I was thinking, really? You think that if there were no religion, people would just go around raping and killing each other and like stealing from each other? I mean, it's kind of ridiculous if you think about it. I mean, take Japan, one of the most secular countries in the world. They're doing just fine. I mean, let's take a look at hold on, let me backtrack for a second, because one of my friends told me to talk about war and things like that, and the close-mindedness of some religious people. Just take a look at war for a second, and I really hope I'm not just filming the ground while I walk. I'm trying to hold this upright to where you can actually see something while I'm talking. There's a humanities building and a suspicious truck. Anyway, look at that nice little view. Such a scenic campus we have. All these dead trees and whatnot. But if you think about it, there have been, I I don't know, it's hard to really talk about, but religion does cause a lot of conflict and wars. It has caused wars in the past, and it's still to this day causing trouble. Whether it's go back in time to the Crusades, or nowadays with the Shiites and the Sunnis, you know, there's just a lot of people constantly fighting over stuff like that. And God damn it, I hit the fucking record button again. Anyways, take a look at the prison population, because I'm not going to get into the wars and stuff, because that's pretty debatable. But I mean, think of it this way: there's never been a war declared because of atheism, so just, you know, think of it like that. But it is debatable as to why wars happen and why they don't. Bicycle. Anyways, yeah, I'm just gonna skip that part because it is kind of unfair to talk about wars in general. But I mean, you can't deny that wars have happened because of religion in the past, and that there's still fighting going on because of that. And I would like to hear somebody bring up any sort of war that was ever caused because of atheism, like killing in the name of atheism on a grand scale like that. But I digress. I'll be digressing a lot. But fuck, completely lost my train of thought. Okay, that time I paused on purpose so I could regain my thoughts. But anyways, let's head back to morality. People ask me how I can be moral without something, without some sort of guideline, I guess. And the way I think of it, yeah, it might be the golden rule, and it might, you know, be a pretty widespread religious teaching, but you know, I kind of do believe that I don't want to do things to other people that I don't want done to me. So I mean, it's not hard to come up with a concept that murder is wrong and stealing is wrong and, you know, hurting others is wrong. It's really not that big a problem to, you know, come up with on your own. I don't really need some sort of God or deity to tell me that. And there are a lot of things in the Bible that, because remember, I'm talking about Christianity right now because that's what I know more about. But there are a lot of things in not just the Bible but in other religions that are morally pretty questionable. And there's a what's it called? Fuck, a verse. Yeah, a verse. There is a there are times in the Bible, especially in the Old Testament, and people don't like to talk about the Old Testament. They like to say, well, it's all about the New Testament. You don't want to. We don't like the Old Testament. We don't go there. But I mean, no. If you say that the Bible is the Word of God, then you gotta go all the way. You can't just say, oh, it's only some of it is really what counts. And if you were to say that, let's say in the Bible it says, if you're fighting for God, you're allowed to kill other villages and take their women and children and, you know, rape the women and, you know, slaughter the children, do whatever you want to do. It's okay as long as it's in the name of God. But people don't like, you know, Christians don't like those kinds of verses. And well, when I think of it that way, I think, you know, I accept that. Sure, maybe some of it has kind of, you know, we've grown out of that. Maybe it's more of like for back then, we're supposed to interpret it a different way or some shit. We're not supposed to accept everything because some of it's obviously wrong. But you know, why don't we do that with other parts? I mean, you know, I was getting a call. Anyways, why don't we do that with other parts of the Bible and the morality that it teaches, the quote-unquote morality, like stoning gays or something like that. I mean, why can't we say, you know what, you know, times have changed. Maybe it's not such a good idea to bash gays anymore. You know, I think they've had enough. I mean, if we're taking out the part where if a woman is raped, she has to marry her rapist as a punishment to him. I mean, which by the way, that happened like a month ago, somewhere in I think in the Middle East or some shit. Woman was like a 16-year-old girl was raped, and a year later a judge forced her to marry her rapist as his punishment. She ends up killing herself. So this is still going on, by the way. That was actually a big story. I'll be surprised if a lot of you haven't heard that one yet. But anyways, that happened like a month ago. You know, yeah, 2012, that shit's still happening. So if that shit if people don't like that to be part of their rules and their moral code, you gotta pick some of the other fucked up shit that is just complete bullshit and get rid of that, such as the gays aren't people and let's suppress the blacks and all kinds of shit like that. That's just ridiculous. You see, I get my moral code from, a lot of it from society, religious and non-religious. Just, I pick and choose what I think is right and wrong, which is why I don't judge people whether they're gay, straight, bi, black, white, Asian, whatever. I judge them on whether or not they're an asshole or not. I said not twice. I don't know why I did that. I judge them on whether they are an asshole or they are a cool person. And there's not enough of that going around. That's for fucking sure. Kind of walking around in circles. Here, I'll go this way. I'll go right. There's the glass blowing room way over there. Anyways, let's go check out the glass blowers again. Man, this shade feels nice. Hold on, let me check my phone, because I got a couple messages from my buddies and they had some good ideas. Oh yeah, I can lead into what my friend Brent was telling me. When he said that he was an atheist, because he's in the army right now, and on your dog tags you can put your religion, and he said atheist, and they were like, really, you don't believe in God? What do you believe in? You believe in science? That's crazy. For one, why is the pursuit of knowledge and factual evidence crazy? And two, just because we don't believe in God, that doesn't mean we don't believe in something. I mean, and we might not believe in a higher power, like some sort of all-knowing, all-seeing, universe-creating deity, fairy tale shit like that. But just because we don't believe in fairy tales doesn't mean we don't believe in being good people or being moral. Or let's check out the glass blowers again. It looks like they're having fun. Anyways, that doesn't mean that we don't believe in treating others well. And in fact, I would say that an atheist like myself, or at least an atheist who's also a good person, is a little bit more moral than somebody who is good to people because they think they're going to be rewarded. My thoughts on death are that once I die, that's it, I'm dead, and there's no going around that. I was dead before I was born, and it didn't seem to bother me that much. So I'm gonna be dead long after I was alive. So I mean, people don't realize, and it might be sort of a scary thing to think about for a lot of people, and I understand that, but the lives we live are so unimportant and fucking minuscule in the greater scheme of things. If you really think about it, the lives we live are just many tiny milliseconds compared to the greater. It's hard to explain. Like, out of the age of the universe, I mean, see, here we go again. I can't get my words straight. I have the problem with this. Think about how old the universe potentially is, and then a person lives maybe on average 78 years or something like that on average. So, and then there's just billions and trillions of years later. And I mean, if you really think about it in the grand scheme of things, we're just this tiny speck of nothingness. And on our own scale, we can accomplish a lot. But in the greater scheme of things, it really isn't going to matter what we do. So my philosophy here is just try to do right by yourself and those around you. And that's basically what I think about life. Like, to say there's a meaning to life, I just think is a waste of time, because in the end, it's all meaningless anyways. So, and I know this might sound a little depressing to some people, but that's just the way I see it. I feel like, I don't really think I take life for granted, but I mean, sometimes I do. But then, when I really think about it, I am, I guess, glad to be alive in the place that I am. Like, I'm glad I'm not, I don't know, a starving child in Africa or something like that. Or I'm an oppressed woman in Iraq or Iran, however you say it, Iran, whatever, it doesn't matter. I'm not there, so I'm grateful. And let's turn right. So anyways, yeah, I guess when I really think about it, I am grateful to be where I am. But I digress. I'm gonna move on to a different spot. Anyways, I was talking about death. Yes, that's what I was talking about. Make sure I'm still recording. Yeah, I am. When I die, that's what I think happens. I don't think there's any afterlife. I could be wrong, might not be wrong, but I feel like if there is some sort of God out there, and he judges people on whether or not they're going to be able to get into heaven based on what they did in their life, I feel like even though I don't believe that there's a God, I don't think that's a reason that I shouldn't get into heaven. I feel like I've done a lot of good. I'm trying to do good, and let's cut left into the trees. But I feel like I've done, you know, nice things for people. I'm not evil. I haven't really hurt anyone. I'm pretty satisfied with the way I've treated people so far, and I'm sure if you were to ask anybody that knows me well enough, they would say, yeah, Matt, he's a cool guy, he's a nice person. So yeah, I feel like the concept of a God that would shun good people away just because they didn't believe in him, that's pretty fucked up if you ask me. I mean, I digress once more. I'll go back to that in a second, but I don't want to go too far this way because there's a bunch of commotion over there. So I'll turn back left. Anyways, I was talking about, fuck me. I was talking about death, blah blah blah, morality. Okay, yes. A lot of religious, in fact, all religious people think that if they do good things, or if they do the right thing, if they do what God wants, whether it's good or bad, that they'll be getting into heaven, and that's where they get their morals from. But is that really moral if you're just doing deeds because you think it'll get you a reward in the afterlife? I do good deeds for people, and any atheist who is a good person is being a good person because that's what they feel like is the right thing to do. They don't feel like oh, I better fucking do some good deeds today so I can get into heaven later. No, because they don't believe heaven exists. They believe once you're dead, and it doesn't matter. And what a lot of religious people have asked me on that concept is, well, if that's what you believe, why do you even do good things? Because I'm not an asshole. Like, they come at me with this question, like, if you don't think there's a heaven, why do you do good deeds? Why don't you just do whatever the hell you want? It's like, because that's the wrong thing to do. I mean, think about it. Like, it kind of dumbfounds me to think that some people, I'm not saying all religious people ask me this question or would think this way, but you know, a lot of them do. A lot of them. And the question is like, why? I mean, why do good deeds if you're not going to be rewarded? I'm going to go this way. Go out in front of this building and take a look at it from the front side, because I've walked over that way before in my Dexter and Death Note video. But anyways, it's like the way they make it sound is like if they didn't believe in God, they would just go around raping and killing people. And I think that's really what your thought process is. I mean, it dumbfounds me to think that people actually think like that. Like, oh, if there is no God, then there's no reason to be good to other people. No, if there's no God, then there's every reason to be good to other people, because that means we only have one shot. We only have this one life to do good deeds and be remembered and help others out and be a good person and feel good about yourself. We only have one chance. We don't have an afterlife to where we can, I mean, it's like, it kind of aggravates me so much because I try to think about the logic behind it, and I'm just like, you do good deeds because that's what they're good deeds. I mean, I don't know. I just think that being a good person means doing good things because it's the right thing to do, not because you think you're going to be rewarded by some God. I mean, that's really not very moral if you ask me. Anyways, let's go back to things things atheists believe in, I guess. Let's talk about science, I guess. A lot of religious people don't like the idea of scientific proof, I guess, faulting what they believe in, or sort of disproving what they believe in. In the Bible it says God made the sun and the moon, and He made night and day. By the way, God made night and day before He made the sun and the moon. So think about that for a second. Wait a minute. He made night and day, and then He made the sun and the moon? What? That's true. You guys need to read your Bibles if you don't believe me there. And God also thought that the earth was flat, sat on pillars, and that bats were birds and not mammals. So, I mean, there's a lot of stuff in the Bible that just makes absolutely no sense. And the reason that is because it was written by a bunch of guys who lived in the desert and didn't know anything. It was written thousands of years ago by a bunch of people who had no knowledge of anything. I mean, no scientific knowledge whatsoever. Also, think about this little bit right here. For all Christians out there, and remember, this is just me talking. You don't have to believe it. You don't have to even listen. This is just me venting why I believe what I believe. All right, so think about this. Dig this, guys. Dig it. Back in the South. Wait a minute. I didn't want to go this way. Whatever. Back in the South parking lot. Whatever. It doesn't matter. Shitballs. What was I talking about? Okay, yeah. Let's assume that the Judeo-Christian God is the right one, the God of the Bible, the Christian Almighty Yahweh, whatever the fuck you want to call him. Let's assume he's real. Why is it that he only chose to show up around 2,000 years ago? Well, maybe a little bit before that. I guess he was there. He was around before Christ, but I mean, thousands of years ago he was there, all up in everybody's business, and getting shit done, and causing plagues, and invoking His wrath upon the innocent bystanders because of who the fuck knows. I mean, he's all knowing. He has his reasons, right? But yeah, he was there causing plagues and fucking shit up for Job, his most loyal follower, and you know, all that. But ever since then, I mean, it's like, where's he been? What's he been doing? Is he on vacation? He's on a thousand year vacation? I mean, what the fuck's going on here? And why is it he was only around in the Middle East? I mean, around that time, the Greeks had their gods of Olympus, and what else was there? I guess the Chinese had their dragon worship. I don't fucking know. But I mean, if God was wanted to be taken seriously, why is it he was only around? You know what, I am going to go back this way because I just came from that way. Why is it that God was only around fucking, what is it, around the Middle East, and not, why wasn't he in China? There was quite a few people he could have let what am I trying to say? There's quite a few people he could have talked to in China. And what about all those Native Americans with their kooky weird beliefs, their buffalo worship? I'm just joking, by the way, guys. Don't get super pissed off about that. That's a fucking joke. Relax. But anyways, but yeah, why wasn't he over in the Americas, or in China, or in, I don't know, fucking Arctic, where the Eskimos and shit are? I don't know. Why is it that he was only getting shit done in the Middle East instead of, and you know, and why did he stop? That's another good question. It's like no one really wants to think about that. I asked somebody that once, and they said, well, there are theories as to why he wasn't in China. And I was like, really? That's what you have to say? There are theories? Okay, I guess that's a good enough answer for you. That'll be a good enough answer for me. Fuck. Anyways, yeah. Just, things... Fucking cars. Anyways, the Bible says a lot of stuff that just... It's scientifically ridiculous. And, the more we study and you know, and learn about the universe and the world, the farther and farther away we get from any sort of religion. And that's kind of scaring a lot of these religious people. They don't want to believe it. They don't want to believe that evolution is a thing, which evolution is scientific fact, by the way. Like, we didn't evolve from no fucking monkeys. Then you don't know what evolution says, really. It doesn't say we were a monkey and then we turned into a human. It says we have a common ancestor, and over time, due to you know, different adaptations and things like that, you eventually evolve a little bit. So I mean, oh hell yeah, that's my jam. That guy's white. What the fuck? That is great. I hope you guys can hear that fucking music. That is fucking fantastic. Wow. Okay, anyways, I'm gonna hop over to the other side. Anyways, yeah, as we learn more and more about the universe and whatnot, you know, we realize that everything in the Bible is just nonsense, and it's just a bunch of scientific fallacies, and it's just all a bunch of ridiculous nonsense that was, once again, written by a bunch of people who lived in the desert who didn't know what else to do, I guess. So, I mean, that's my opinion on that. Let me know what you think. Alright, update. I would really like to have a more serious, in-depth, civilized conversation about the topics of religion and whatnot, and morality, and different shit like that. So, if any of you have any questions, I would really like to hear them. Whether they are, I don't know, sort of a debate-style question, or just a question you have for me in general. I would, you know, it's doing these walking commentaries, it's kind of hard for me to think about specific topics. I'm trying to pull stuff out of my head, you know, on the fly, and I have a lot easier of a time discussing this kind of thing when I have specific things in mind. And I think it would make for a much better video, much more detailed and all that, if I had some sort of interaction with some other people. So if you guys have any questions or any sort of comments, please let me know. Comment, you know, below the video. Let me know what you think. All right. Anyways, Jaguar, stand up.